What's up, barbecue family? It's Joe Mill here with Killer Miller Q, and today is a very special cook getting ready for Turkey Day. We're gonna be brining your Thanksgiving turkey. All right, so I'm gonna show you a quick cleanup on your turkey. Get you some shears that you maybe got dedicated to just your chicken and turkey and that type of deal. And then I will keep the garbage close by too. So basically all we're going to do is remove the things that are inside of the turkey, clean up a little bit of the extra fat maybe or the flap that's hanging around it, give it a good rinse out, and then we'll have it all ready for dropping into our brine, or even if you're going to inject it or whatever have you. I like cutting down the back of it just in case you poke it. It won't be in a bad spot. Obviously, you know there's going to be a lot of juice. I like leaving that right there in the bottom to kind of catch a lot of the stuff that we're going to get rid of. Now, some turkeys are different. You know, you might have one thing and not the other. This one's got the extra skin to kind of hold the feet down. So we'll open that up. And now let's see what we got in here. Your neck. And we're going to clean out that cavity a little bit. We'll get rid of the tail. Cut that off. I personally don't want the flap. We'll cut that off as well. And just kind of get the bird to looking like what you want it to be on the back end later. Okay, it's usually a lot of extra skin here. There's the bag with the giblets and all that good stuff. We'll take that out. Open up this hole a little bit so it can breathe. And me personally, I like to get rid of a lot of this skin. There. Try to keep it where you can see this. There we go. Now we can get it closer to looking towards like what we like. Trim off a little of this excess skin. Kind of open this up. We're going to get rid of some of those things that's just in there hanging, along with some of those last little bit of organs that might be left. Obviously this is the gross part. You can definitely wear some gloves while you do it, but for me, I'm like, I'd rather have my regular hands and then on the back end just turn around and wash. And then obviously make sure you keep this all in the sink. Make sure you got stuff away from it so you're not splashing around. Not worse when you're doing chicken, but still. Okay. We're gonna get this thing rinsed up and cleaned up, and then get ready to get our brine solution together. Alright, so we're gonna be working with this Kinder's brine. This is something I got at Costco. So this is real easy to do. We pretty much already put together the brine solution, and from there we just gotta kind of mix it with some ice, water, and then we'll be putting it in our cooler, or if you want you can also put it in the refrigerator. So what I'm going to do, line this cooler more or less with the bag, and start with that brine solution. And then for me, I gotta do 18 cups of ice water. There we go. Do a little hand mix. Just to make sure everything's moved in there. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the turkey in, and I'll put that in breast side down. I already cleaned out my turkey, so it is ready to go. And then from there, we just want to pull it nice and tight. Get some of that air out. And then we're going to tie it up. Throw some ice on top. And we'll let it rest. Follow your directions on whatever brine you use. In my case, you can do it overnight or at least 6 hours. So we'll let the baby sleep. Wake it up. Rinse it off. All right, team, we're back. We're taking this turkey out of the old brine solution. It was in there roughly about 6 hours. From there, you want to make sure that you go ahead and rinse it off with some nice cold water. Get off the majority of the additional seasoning that you see on there. And then we're just going to take a paper towel and just work on patting it dry a little bit, so we can get ready to rub it down with a little bit of, I like to use olive oil. Kind of helps with making it a nice brown coat. Also help our skin crisp up a little bit, much like we did on our chicken. So after we kind of go ahead and we get everything dried off, and for this I am going to use a glove just to make it easy on myself on the cleanup on the back end. Once we throw it into the actual smoker, I'm going to go ahead and rub it down with some olive oil to start. We're using this Kinder's brine mixture, which also comes with a rub. Normally I would do that myself, but I wanted to try the brine and do something different for you, and I figured I would go with the Kinder's brine. This was something that I found at Costco. I like Kinder's products, and I figured it would be something that a lot of people would probably be able to come across and actually potentially be using for their Thanksgiving bird. So all we're going to do now, and I'm not worried about the bottom end, is I'm just going to coat everything down, get everything nice and shiny. Get a little bit on these wings. Definitely all over the thighs, the breast. Got me a little tear in here in the front, but that's okay. So I'm sure once it actually gets warmed up, that's going to open up probably a little bit. Take away from my pretty bird, but you know what? It's going to be all right. We're going to make it work. So once we get this thing kind of lubed up all over, nice and smooth, don't have to be a lot. We just want a little bit. From there, I'm going to go ahead and hit it with the rub. This is a buttery poultry blend from Kinder's that they had. They went with this brine mixture. Brine mixture smelled just like Thanksgiving, so I suspect that this will be more the same. Should have kept that glove on. Luckily, I came with 2. Okay, personal preference, like everything. For me, I like to kind of start more with my legs. And just try to get a nice little light start. A little bit of everywhere, keep it moving. Little everywhere. Keep it moving. And we're gonna kind of rotate this bird a little bit, so I can get a little bit on the side of these leg quarters and the back of these wings. I tell you, a lot of this, man, for me, a lot of the skin I actually end up taking off in the end, but it always starts off good. There we go. Make sure you get that opening on that breast. I always try to make sure I save me a little bit just so we can kind of make it pretty at the end and cover up. Right now we're just going to try to get a little bit uniform everywhere. I never can get away from all these flies. Welcome to Arizona. Rotate it this way so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Just trying to get a nice little basic even coat all the way. And always give me a tap or 2 just to kind of make it stay before I move on. This is also going to sit for a minute with the rub on it, coming up to a little closer to room temperature. Alright, that really looking good. I don't mind getting a little bit in the inside a little bit. Even though I'm not going to necessarily eat the middle or the back of the bone, but hey, I like to have it just permeating all throughout. All right, bird is ready. General coat all over. And that's what you want. You're gonna let that bird come up to room temp. And then from there, I'm cooking at about 275 today on the smoker. Plan is we're gonna sit this baby in directly on the rack for about an hour. I wanna be able to get a nice brown all the way around it. And then from there, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this into an actual pan and I'm gonna leave it in there uncovered until I can actually get to a nice brown overall color. From there, I'll go ahead and I'll cover it up and then we'll take it up to temperature. I like to get my breast at about 165, legs at about 175, and then we'll get it out of there, let it rest for about 15 to a half an hour, and then we'll get you some slices and let you see what's on the back end. Stay tuned. Okay, team, now that we're on, like I said, we're going to be cooking it roughly about 275. I wanted to show you something real quick with this bird. Directly on the rack, I got rid of my top rack so that way you're not getting touched on the top, messing up your pretty bird. I like to get me a couple different probes going on the bird. I don't want to get it too cooked, and then I want to try to make sure we get a nice pretty picture on the back end. Give me one of those probes. You want to keep that into your thigh, into that lower meat, the dark meat, which is usually always going to cook a little bit faster. And then on the top end, we want to take it into that breast. Two different meats, two different temperatures. Trying to get more or less 165 back there on the breast, 175 roughly on these legs. Okay, some people pull them a little bit earlier because it'll probably still keep up the temp once they're actually sitting there resting, but I like to usually be sure when I'm doing poultry, chicken, turkey, that type of deal. So go a little bit to the line of the letter and go from there. But the other thing, probe on each opposite side. That way, once I rotate this, the other side will be getting some love. You're getting a good idea where you're at one way or another. All right, team, next time we check in, we'll be spritzing with a little bit more of this olive oil. We'll use a spray. And from there, once we get about an hour in, we'll probably turn it about halfway, 30 minutes. Then I'll throw it into the pan. We'll get it all the way up to temp. Once I get my color, I'm gonna go ahead and cover it. That's roasting on it. Hey, what up, family? I see you back. We just threw a log in. We're about an hour in. We got it nice and caught. I'll throw one over there to kind of get warmed up. But let's take a peek at this bird. Got us some olive oil right here. And pretty much, we're starting to dry out a little bit. Like I said, we wanted that hour just to kind of get a little bit of time to let that bottom get a little bit of love before we throw it in this pan. Now that we got the seasons and everything stuck on here, I'm just adding a little bit of this olive oil to keep everything nice and moist. It should end up giving us a nice, pretty looking glaze and color. Trying not to rub off all my little rub. Let's kind of give it a little dab. We're just gonna touch it a little bit. Let it drizzle on, let it run. So the next thing that we'll be doing, now I would have thrown this in the pan first before I did this because it would have been a little easier on me picking it up and everything, but I wanted to make sure you could see it all. We're gonna rotate it like we've been doing. So along this hour, at the 30-minute mark, I flipped it around just so the opposite side be a little closer to the fire. We keep it moving. Okay, that's good. Not too much, just a little something. And we'll do this again along the way. Okay. Get a little bit in here on the back end. Make sure it's nice and protected. We don't want it drying out on us. And there we are. Not too worried about temperature right now. It's all about color. I'm just trying to get up to where I want to be. Once I see the color I'm looking for, like I said, I'm about to throw this back in the pan, leave it uncovered. We're going to work to get another, at least another half hour to an hour. Peek at it at about the half hour mark, hit it with some more olive oil. If I'm at where I want to be on color, just inside a super golden brown, I'll go ahead and wrap it up. And then after that, you guys will see it on the back end once we get up to temperature. And it's time to go slice him up. And bam! There we go. We in the pan. One thing I forgot to mention, I want to quickly bring it back just so you can actually see what it looks like sitting in the pan. Add a little bit of water to the bottom of your pan. Let's not dry this turkey out. Truthfully, you don't really need that much. I'm adding in about a cup. Once this thing really gets going, we're going to be adding in, or we won't have to add in anything. Once this really gets going, there's going to be a lot of juice that'll come out of the turkey to kind of help us out. And plus, once we wrap it up, all of that steam will stay on the inside to actually help cook the middle first, so we don't completely dry it out. And then we'll actually probably be putting it back on here unwrapped again just to get that color back, because it'll probably look a little bit pale. But add a little bit of water just to your start so we don't completely dry out. I haven't put any water in the cooking chamber, so just a little bit, maybe a cup and a half, something like that, in the bottom. Some people might want to add some butter, might want to add in some celery, so on and so forth. I kind of do that in the oven. I stay away from it on the smoker because it's all going to pretty much burn up. But a little bit of water in the bottom do wonders. See you in a minute. Fam, let's see this thing. We've been chugging along, and it's probably about time to wrap. That looks like a good color. Keep in mind, I usually try to get this thing wrapped up a little lighter in the color before it gets all the way to the brown I want to end on, because while it's in here wrapped up, even though we're going to be covering it, it's still going to get a little bit darker. And then on the back end, if need be, you can always toss it back on there just to get you a little brown back color after kind of steaming out in that foil. So basically what I'm about to do is give it one more glaze of olive oil. You see that little bit of water we added in there gave us plenty. And we haven't even really got cooking. We'll have even more than that once we get done wrapping it up and letting it cook. I'm going to double check these temps just to kind of give an idea where we're at, and I'll let you see it. So I brought in my Insta-Read just because I usually can get a more temp. I'm going to trust a little more. Make sure I'm not hitting no bone. It's getting there. And I'm expecting the brush should be a little lower. Yeah. It won't take too much longer. So we're going to get this breast to 165, get those legs to about 175-ish, and we'll be out of here. We're going to spritz it, or give it a little bit more drizzle of olive oil. I'm going to give it a good wrap up. I'm going to leave the breast side towards the fire, and we're going to get it done. I'll talk to you soon. Okay, we back here at Killer Miller Q, where I'm giving you tips and tricks to help you level up your backyard smoking and grilling. Thanks for hanging out with me on today's cook, getting ready for Thanksgiving. And if you haven't yet, take a moment to like and subscribe, and make sure you check out some of the other videos there in the playlist, and that way you can also catch the ones that's up and coming. But now, let's get to the start of the show. There she go. Check that out. Ain't she purty? Let me tell you, if you've never smoked your turkey, you need to give it a shot. She came out absolutely perfect. We went on about 260 for about 3 hours and 20 minutes. Like I said, we gave it a little bit of rub down with some olive oil, and then hit it with that buttery poultry rub. This was the Kinder's brine mix that we used. No promotions by Kinder's, but more or less just something I found at Costco that I wanted to use for brine. I like Kinder's products and figured a lot of people might be able to get a hold of it, being that it's in Costco, or they have already done so. So it's only one thing we got left to do with this bird. It's time to get a taste. One thing I will give you a quick look at, if you don't already, this is a digital thermometer that I've been using for a long time, a wireless thermometer. This is a ThermoPro. I'll throw the link in the descriptions as well. Something good to kind of help you out. These days, I'm almost to the point now, everything is looking in a thermopen when it's time to go. But every once in a while, situations like making this turkey, it sure is nice to be able to put a probe in and always know exactly where you at. Oh, I'm ready. Let's sample this bird. Alright, so we got it laid out a little bit here. Usually what I'll do, and I'm definitely no connoisseur, but we can definitely get the job done. I got my handy carving knife to make life a little bit easier. But what I usually will do is I'll kind of cut right along here just to kind of separate this area in this skin between the leg down there. And then from there I'll be able to cut me a couple nice good slices right here off of the breast. It's going to get loud. There we go. Even that up. I need me a big piece. Oh yeah, we got that smoke in there. See if this can autofocus on that real quick. Just so you can see some of that juiciness. There we go. You see that? We winning. We winning. Now the best part. I'm gonna come down for you. Follow the recipe. You're gonna be all right. I got your back. Nice and smoky. That buttery herb flavor is great on here. Oh yeah. Can't go wrong. Literally dripping juice. You're gonna be all right. Okay, you seen it. Just like that, family. I literally had to just go wipe my lips before I did the rest of this video just to finish up. Wanted to make sure I told you thanks for hanging out with me, going through another one of these cooks. Make sure you check out the rest of the videos in the playlist. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Make sure you get out there on the smoker and put something together good for your family. Peace.